Hmm.
2006, I believe, was your solo debut. Was it more of a mixtape, The Great Adventures of Sean Wayne?
Yeah, that was a mixtape. That's the one Skaz and Bro Rap did. Bro Rap hosted it, and then Skaz mixed it. Yeah, that was. I just had so many songs. Like I said, we used to record. My God, we used to record like crazy. Sean Price was on that album. On that mixtape. Um, yeah, mixtape, and that same kind of thing. We weren't recording at Missy Ann at that time. We ended up we had a studio out in Durham at that time, and that's where we recorded, called the Chop Shop. So we were recording out there, but pretty much the similar vibe, like you know what I mean, just having a good time recording. I mean, we just continuously recorded. I mean, we back I there back then there was days we would do three, four, five songs. I can't do that shit these days, but that's what we used to do. You know what I mean? It was just
Right,
constant, constant.
right. Did life start changing for you after that solo debut?
Nah. I mean, everything stayed the same. Nah, not really. Like, because we didn't get any like, I didn't get any solo touring off it, nothing like that. More of a buzz, more people just hollering, just liking the music, but nothing crazy. No. Mm-mm.
Right. Gonna dig a little deeper into the discography of you. If I missed anything, be sure to correct me. You slipped some things in on me that I didn't know that you had out there, so I had to
It's all
do
good.
some extra research.
It's
You
all good.
got with Foreign Exchange for their debut album. What do you remember most about, seeing Fonte and Nicolay get together to form that group?
So, I mean, obviously, I was there when Nicolay I didn't physically come around because obviously he was overseas, but when they did Light It Up, all that type of stuff, as soon as he started coming in the mix, Fonte's family. But like to this day, but so I mean, I remember doing the answer. Ken Starr came down, Odyssey, they all came down to Durham, and we just had fun and recorded. Um, I was supposed to have a verse on there, but I didn't get the verse written in time, but I got the hook. So I don't know, just a good time. We just had fun and then laid it all down.
Right.
Hmm.
Some years later, you guys were ready for your sophomore album as the away team, Training
Hmm.
Day. What do you remember most about that transition, from your first album going to your second album? Any adjustments that you had to make?
No, we did. I have some issues. I have some issues with how I was rapping at the time. I think I was a little too over the top, like aggressive. But nah, same thing. Me and Christ just locked in. We kind of forced that. We kind of forced that album coming out because we weren't supposed to do an album at that time. But we always just stayed so ready with so much music. We had the album ready to go, and we made it so it was forced it to come out basically just because we were so ready. Um, Sean Price is on there. Black Milk's on that album. Crisis made the Black Milk joint happen. That's a great song. I love that song. Same thing though, except for that time we recorded most of that in Crisis' apartment that he had at the time. Um, we just set it up in the closet and just went from there and did it like that. So same thing, drinks, fun, recording.
You also had
Yep.
Evidence, I believe, on that.
Yeah,
Any
Evan, that's right. Yep, true indeed. Yep.
best memories of working with Sean P?
Man, that dude, I know anyway, anytime you see an interview about Sean Price, it's about how funny he is. That comedian, man, rest in peace. Incredible dude. Just an overall great dude, fun to work with, fun to be around. Um, just a blast, man. Always a blast around Ruck. Always.
Right. I believe up next was Nervous Wreck, the warm up. That was
Yep.
also on Hall of Justice. Is that correct?
No, actually. So we recorded that album, and we recorded most of that album at Nervous Wreck. He's a dude from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and he's from a crew called Bomb Shelter. That's his group. They had their own thing in the '90s and everything. He mentored J. Cole at a young age, that type of thing. Um, and we recorded most of that at his house. He was living in Wake. He moved up here in Wake Forest, and we met him at a show or something. And we didn't go into it trying to record the warm up, but we just kind of did it. And then once it was all done, we never put it out. It just kind of sat. And then a few years later, I can't remember how we came up with it, but we just decided we put a cover. We got a homeboy named Tobias. He's an art dude. Does a bunch of different things out in Durham. and he did the album cover for us, and we gave that away for free. We actually just released it on Two Dope Boys. Two Dope, that was the blog era, so Two Dope Boys was really popping, and we just put it out, like that.
Dope.
So we did that on our own.
Independence Day 2010.
So that's when we just went to Jamla, which is Ninth's label. Me and Crisis just went over there, and that was kind of like what we did with that was there was a lot of I did a few freestyles. It was just older music, so maybe a couple things that didn't come out, a couple things we recorded, kind of some, I don't want to say throwaways, but just joints we had. And we just put it out to kind of reintroduce ourselves, because at the time we had kind of, it had been a while, few years since Training Day and all that. So it was just kind of to reintroduce ourselves, and that's what that was. Yep.
Right. You threw out a free mixtape, Light Beers Ahead of You.
Yes, Light Beers Ahead of You. That was a blast. We recorded that at Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. At Knife Studio, I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, we recorded that. Good time. The whole Jamla crew, we like just anybody that was in the studio jump on songs. Just kind of how we did. It was like the same vibe as it was in Missy Ann, but just now, in a different place. Same family, same, for the most part, everything like that. So yeah. Yep.
So how did you find yourself over at Duck Down with Scars and Stripes?
So Knife made that happen. Obviously, we've had a long-standing relationship with Drew Ha and Duck Down and all that. And we had the album. It wasn't done, but we were close, and we just thought it'd be a perfect place. So when we reached out, Drew Ha was open to it. Made it happen, put it together, and put it out. That was also that's like a check mark, like a box. You know what I mean? Like
right.
To put something out on Duck Down Jamla, it was a slap, both. But I mean, to have that Duck Down name on it was like a dream come true. So.
Right. Did you also get to witness Ninth working with Smith & Wesson on their albums, as well as I believe Sean P had one produced by Ninth, I believe?
Yeah, for the Sean Price joint, yeah, he came down at the time I was over there. He came down and recorded that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dope. You released a couple mixtapes back to back, Phantom of the Jamla. What do you remember most about that project?
Same thing. Same thing. I'm just trying to expand myself as a rapper. Like, you know what I mean? Get my name going more and more. Phantom of the Jamla, it was a little darker than normal. I don't know if that's the place where I was at. I didn't feel any kind of way about that, but just same vibe, same fun. Everything was in house, in family. You know what I mean? Just having a good time and recording.
Right. Putting in so much work up to this point, what are the peers in the industry saying? As far as your projects.
I get good feedback. From everybody. Nothing really. Just when I talk to people, it's just like I hear the growth. You know what I mean? I took a break. For a while too. For a few years, I quit everything. I just stepped away from music. So when I came back, people was like, "Man, it's good to hear you back. Sounds like you never missed a beat. In fact, it sounds like you're doing better." You know what I mean? I record myself these days, right? So I do all my own recording, and it just puts me in a different zone where I zone out and just have I'll just spend time and just experiment, do different things, and have fun with it. So it's been good, man. It's been good. Feedback been good.
Right. Sean Boogie Nights 2012.
Yep, Sean Boogie Nights. Sean Boogie Nights. Prior to stepping, that was the last thing I did prior to stepping away from music. That was on Jamla. That was at the time, that was my favorite project I had been a part of. I just loved the way that sounds. I liked where I was as an artist at the time. Ninth really structured it. He structured it for me and really, you know what I mean, gave it. He put it together. He sequenced it in the whole nine. So yeah, that ranks up high there with the projects I've done for me. I love that album.
Right. You talked a little bit about stepping away prior to this particular project. What was it about the industry, or what was going on to where Sean Boog had to step away for a minute?
So I think I've said this. I lost the love being a part of it. I was recording, and like everything I started doing just seemed the same and blah, and it's like kind of lost the love for it, like the art of it for a while. And at the time, I switched over to managing, so I started managing Jam with a label. I was a label manager for a while. So at that point, I was like, well, if I'm going to take this on, then I'm going to step away from rapping for a while, right? And I don't like the term. Well, I can't say I don't like it, but I think it's overused, the term introvert. But I'm not the biggest people person. Like I like to be to myself. I don't like a lot of people. You know what I mean? So all that was starting to weigh on me too, right? So it was just kind of one of the things where it's like, do you even want to be seen like that, right? So all that kind of hit at once, and that's when I just stepped away. Like I stopped. I hit knife was just like, I'm gonna step away from managing the label, like the whole nine, and just stepped away. You know what I mean? Went and got married. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Just moved on. But not for no reason, just so much because I was just more so just tired. You know what I mean? Tired. I had pursued when you pursue rap like full time for like a decade plus at that time, and maybe just didn't see the results maybe I thought. Those types of things just starts to weigh on you, and that's where I was at the time.
Right. At what point did you feel the bug and wanted to get back into music?
COVID, man. I was in the house, and it's funny because I joke because like I had never planned. When I say I was done, I was done. Like not a fan. Like I'm always ahead. Like I was a fan. I love being a fan and living, right? So I don't know, it just hit me out of nowhere. And it's like, at this point in my life, at that point, a few years ago now, but at this point in my life, credit's good, all these different things, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, I can get my own equipment. Let me just see what I can do, So I did that, bought my own equipment, set up shop and just hit up Crisis and was just like, you got anything to get me started? We did a couple joints. One of the joints is on his most recent album, In the Hour of Crisis, and then there's two joints on Sean. It's Midnight Somewhere, the first one of the series. From there, so just kind of went from there. Reached out to some producers and just went at it. And it's like the first song I recorded when I got back to it was The Return, which is In the Hour of Crisis. First song I recorded in like 8 years. First song wrote, recorded, everything. Like I hadn't touched anything until that song. So once I did that, I was just like, well, shit. It's like riding a bike. You know what I mean? And just went from there.
Dope. You talked a little bit about the Midnight series. It's Midnight Somewhere. It was the first, I believe, of those series. Can you talk a little bit about that project?
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't go into that project knowing I was going to do a project. Like I said, I just started recording. I think there's 5 joints on there, and I was like, okay, I want to test the waters. It felt real cohesive with the joints that I had. I got producers of Crisis was on there. Dude by the name of Keelan. He's out of Texas. A beast, young dude. He's coming up. He has a group called The Village. Real dope. They're like a mix between like an Outcast, like they're Outcasty, you know what I mean, from that type of cloth. He's on there. And who am I missing? Oh man, I'm dropping the ball on this. Another dude out of the Bay, and I'm just dropping the ball on his name, man. That's horrible. That's terrible. I'm tripping. I'm gonna look that up while I'm talking. But yeah, so did that. Just recorded the joints. I recorded the joints myself. Crisis mixed it and mastered. One of his people mastered it for me. Yeah, man, just had a good time recording the joint, man. It was a fun time, great time.
That was 2020.
That was 2020. Yep, and I released it at the end of 2020 in October. Yep.
What was that feedback like? You said you've been out of the game maybe a decade or so, getting back in it, all new social media way of sharing things. What was that whole experience like?
It was awesome. A producer's name was Most Beats. Most, my apologies, man. A beast. He's a beast, man. If you don't know who that is, check for Most. He's out of the Bay. Like I said, he's a monster. The feedback was great, man. Like I said, that's when people were just like, wow, like, because it came and no one expected it. I didn't tell nobody. Nobody had any idea it was coming. So people, it was great feedback. People were like, a lot, because people have been begging me for years. You got to do something. And I just always told him it's never going to happen because I didn't think it was. So the feedback was really good, man. My boy Sean Kernick, who's a muralist and just an incredible visual artist, did the cover. He did the cover for the whole series so far. There's more coming, but yeah, man,
Was
good
it
feedback.
was it a planned series from the get go, or was you just trying to step in with a project and see how it went?
So it wasn't a planned series, but I will say like the music. So my last album was Sean Boogie Nights, right? So I did know that when I came back in, I wanted my music to be more laid back, kind of chill, kind of nighttimey. I just wanted to stick with that vibe. That's what I wanted to do. So I knew that. Then I knew I had the title as Midnight Somewhere. That's when that just kind of came to me, like when after I did like a song or two, and I was like, yeah, it's a perfect title. Put it out, and then when I got done with it, um, me and Keelan, I was chopping it up with Keelan, and I was just like, man, you want to do the next project? Because he did two joints on the first one. And then that's when I was just like, I'm just gonna call it part two, and I'm just gonna keep the vibe going. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't planned, but it just kind of kept moving. And then
Right.
yeah, so yeah.
Second was called Sector 2. How
Yep.
long after the October 2020 project did you wait to drop Sector 2?
It came out the following year in July.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, July. So because by the time the other one came out, we had already been rolling. And honestly, waiting for mixing and mastering took longer. I'd have had it out sooner because my plan was just to back projects, and I kept them short on purpose, like just kind of keep it moving. You know what I mean? Because to me, in this day and age, and especially in this day and age, people want it quick. Like look at Nas. Like Nas drops albums every 6, you know what I mean, whatever years.
Right.
Now he's 5 in 3 years. You know what I mean? So people understand that. So my thinking was, okay, if I can, instead of putting out a 15-song, 12-song project, keep it short, keep it moving. You know what I mean? So once I did the first one, I'm like, yeah, we'll do this, and I'll have this out quick and have it, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. Unfortunately, creatively, I work slower these days. I tend to only go in when I feel like it. Like I don't try to force nothing. Back in the day, I think I ran myself dry just constantly, kind of like doing 3-4 songs a night, that type of thing. You know what I mean? And
Right.
just every day. So now I just take my time with it more. So I'm working on 3 projects right now as we speak, but they're all going to come. And I think what I'm going to do is sit on those until they're all ready, and then, whatever. So, but yeah. So it was just to keep it going and keep the music coming.